What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and from a thrilling 3-0 win for Chelsea to disappointing 3-1 loss for Atlanta United. Such highs, such lows. Let's talk about it. So, first of all, let's talk about the couple things that contributed to the loss today. First one I do think played a big part in it is you look at the games we played recently. 4 away games in a row, and first game back to the home stadium in quite a while. It's almost like it's not even the home stadium anymore. I don't know, it seems so bizarre that we have 4 away games in a row. That's just strange to me, I don't know, it almost feels like it's not our home stadium anymore because we've been playing everywhere. This is the first time we played here since back in February, I think. Or, no, back in March. So, I don't know, it feels very bizarre. On top of that, this is the first time we played in hot, humid weather in I don't know how long. So, just all of those little things mixed in. Obviously, DC United had to deal with the same problems, but because we're kind of a new team, I think we're struggling to adapt. This, I don't think, helped us in any way. And just, the type of style of play that we work with, the high intensity, high press, attacking style, I don't think suits hot, humid weather. So either we got to get accustomed to it or we got to change our style of play or something. But today showed that we can't really keep that up for very, very long. On top of that, you throw in the terrible MLS referees, once again, not really game-changing decisions, not like the Montreal game where stupid penalty, stupid red card leads to now we lost the game. But there's still several decisions going kind of the opposite way from us. And it's one thing if you're just calling it bad for the whole game, but it's not been like that. In any of the games that we played in, it's not been like that. It seems like it's always been the known team, the team that's been in the league for a while. Probably the players that the referee know, it's like they're getting the calls. And it's frustrating from a fan point of view, it's frustrating from a player point of view. Whenever one of our players touches their player and he falls over and yeah, that's a foul. So Almiron's getting pulled, nothing's being called, so he falls over looking for a call. Nothing. Just play on. Play. What are you calling? Why are you there if you're not going to officiate the game? If you're just going to watch the game, pay like the rest of us. But no, he just lets the game go, lets them play, calls everything against us, makes sure that we're not allowed to touch them, we're not allowed to play physical, but if they play physical, that's okay. That's okay. And on top of that, how much time wasting went into this game today? And how many yellow cards were given for time wasting? I mean, honestly, when the keeper is not taking his own goal kicks, and the player that's going to take the goal kicks is taking about 15 seconds to set the ball down, and then 10 more seconds to step back and look at the field, hands on his hips, and just waiting. And then he goes. That's 25 seconds off the clock. At some point, you have to card him. Nothing. Honestly, I think they only got like 2 yellows, and both of them were deserved, but they were for fouls. Nothing for time wasting, despite all the time wasting going on. That's ridiculous. So, both of those things sort of contributed to it, but the final thing is more on us, and that is we just play way too open in the back. And part of that, does have to do with the fact that we don't have Laurentowicz, we don't have Martinez. Those are 2 players I think can really help. Martinez obviously going forward helps us a lot, but Laurentowicz, believe me, I'm surprised I'm saying this because I even look at him and I'm just like, I don't know if I want him out there. But to be honest, what he's done well over the past few games is he's almost sat back in there as sort of an auxiliary third defender. Just that holding in that space and sort of denying any sort of passage or play through there. And on top of that, kind of providing an outlet as well to where he picks up the ball and he's looking to distribute. Today, you've got Carmona and Gressel together in the midfield. neither of them really stepped back in there to help. Carmona's getting up in the attack, Russell's getting up in the attack. On top of that, Mears and Garza both get up in the attack, which is fine, except for the fact that you look and now what's left? A big hole, one DC United player in between two of our defenders. There's your problem. And it's if one of them were specifically on him, that would be fine. There would be no problem there. But they're not. There's always one standing off, the other one just kind of standing in space, and it leads to a lot of problems. Nobody's really tracking him. The ball gets played up the field. Now all of a sudden, who's going to step? Neither of them step. Now all of a sudden he's through. We're in hot water. So, I don't know, I'm looking at it, and we just look so disorganized defensively. And not that we've been great defensively over the past several games. We've been letting in quite a few goals now and then. But for the most part, we've looked okay. We've looked solid. We've been like, okay, yeah, there have been a couple goals let in a little cheaply, but for the most part, we've done well. We've held them out. We've done our job keeping them at bay. Today, we didn't do that. Today, we looked sloppy. We looked disorganized. We looked wide open. Yeah, it was kind of frustrating to watch. On top of that, some of that does spawn from the fact that we gave away a bit of an, I guess, unlucky goal is the best way to put it. And the play to get there was very disorganized from us, but the shot itself, deflection off of Parkhurst, past Can, probably should have done a bit better, but the deflection, he wasn't ready for it. On another day, the deflection may have taken it wide, or it may have taken it into Can instead of past him. So I think that first goal was a bit unlucky, but then the second one, just sloppy play, letting in Acosta, letting him in easily, diving in, and all of a sudden he's just got an easy open shot through the legs of Parkhurst. Can sees it late, easy goal. And at that point, there wasn't really a way back in for us because they were already kind of sitting in very, very deep. They weren't really pushing forward, and I think they kind of realized that we like to play on the counter. And so they tried to stay back as much as possible so we wouldn't be able to counter on them. On top of that, we like to play on the ground a lot, and so they cut off a lot of the passing angles. And so where you'd think, okay, well, let's just hit in crosses because Kenwin Jones is in there, that's fine. We did that, and it worked. And then for some reason, we weren't doing that as much. It was like we worked it wide, but then the cross wasn't really coming in, or they took an extra touch, which let the defender get in the way of the next touch, which was a cross. So, I don't know, we really didn't do well tactically today. And, part of that is because Martino wants to play the same style. He may have to look at making some changes based on the team that we're playing. But, those are problems for the coaching staff to look at. I don't think there's anything that the players can really do differently that I think would have helped. So anyway, let's move on to individual performances. Can and goal really starting to show that he's not quite the goalkeeper that I think we were all hoping for. I even said first couple reviews, he looks like a keeper that could really challenge Guzan. Maybe it'll be good to see them have to fight it out, see who's going to win that starting place. Past couple games, I started to notice the lack of moving his feet, the saves that he's having to make that are acrobatic when he should just be kind of moving his feet to get there, and sometimes, making the save instead of, I'm just getting a hand to tip it wide. Today really showed. Like I said, first one, really probably should have been a bit more ready for it. On top of that, you really look at it, he got beat near post. That's already unacceptable. But just really, it was like he was rooted. As soon as the shot came in, he's like ready, deflection, falling off. I don't know. It was like he wasn't ready for anything after the shot happened. The second one maybe could have moved his feet to get there a bit sooner, but like I said, through legs, that's difficult to tell. But the third one, and there was a late shot too, the one that Perez headed away. Both of them really good examples of a keeper that is not very confident. Just that one-on-one comes out, and instead of just, okay, I'm here, and then I'm making the challenge, it's like, I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and then the shot comes in, and I've done nothing. It's like he's not really going for the ball, he's not really trying to take it, he's just kind of standing in front of them like, oh, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you. It's just like, dude, either just take the ball and the man, or take the ball, but don't just stand there. I mean, that's probably the worst thing you can do is just stand in front of the defender because and stand in front of the forward because all they're gonna do is, okay, he's not moving, pass it past you. And he's not really, I don't know. It's like he would plant and then stay. He wasn't ready to move side to side. He wasn't ready to get down to it or ready to react to it. He's just there. He's just a body in the way, and it's easy to score when it's just a body and not a keeper. So I really think Guzan's going to come in, probably going to overtake him for the first spot. I don't really see much of a challenge unless, I don't know, unless he just somehow starts working really hard and gets better at, you know, the moving of his feet, his reactions, his willingness to sort of come out and collect. But even then, I mean, beyond all of that, the distribution is still bad. And I may have talked about this before, but his distribution has got to work, or he's got to get better, because too many times the ball's out of play or it's right to them when we need to have possession. We need some improvement there. So I don't know. That's from the from a keeper coach myself. I'm a bit frustrated with him. I think he probably could do better, but for now, you know, just I guess count down the days till Guzan gets here, maybe. Although I will say one of the fans in front of me kept like calling out at him, like, Guzan's coming to take your place, buddy. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, yes, Guzan's gonna come in, probably gonna take over, but I'm holding out hope that can at least put up some sort of challenge. On to the defense. You've got Garza and Mears on the fullbacks again. Both of them did very well in getting forward. Both of them did very well in providing a lot of danger. But I think going forward we need to look at, okay, if one goes forward, the other one needs to stay back. Because that led to a lot of situations where all of a sudden it's dangerous because there's only two defenders back. So that would be my only complaint with the two of them today, is that they both got up and that left us very exposed in the back. So I don't know if that was a tactical thing. I don't know if Martino wants them both to get up in the attack. But I would say if one goes up, the other one needs to either drop in the middle or just stay back and help out defensively so we're not able to get hit so easily on the counterattack. In the middle, Perez and Parkhurst. Perez did fairly well today, you know, just good defensive challenges. Parkhurst didn't do poorly, but I will say he didn't have a great game, mainly because he was left so stranded at times. And part of that is because I think he's supposed to be sort of the leader back there. He's supposed to be the one that's organizing the defense. I think because things were so sort of disorganized and so out of place and players are out of position, nobody's really tracking back and helping out. Because of that, he got left stranded a lot of times because he's not really commanding back there. So I will say, while it wasn't entirely his fault, because there were some other players that I think probably could have done a bit better in the midfield defensively, I do think he caused himself a lot of problems by not sort of organizing and making sure that these problems weren't coming forward. So, and that would be my complaint there, is, you know, just more organization, more from probably who's supposed to be the more experienced and leader. You know, he is our captain, so I expect more out of him back there. Into the midfield, Gressel and Carmona were our two sort of defensive midfielders. Carmona, like I said, if he was supposed to be kind of the defensive midfielder that Laurentowicz was in the past few games, he didn't do a great job of it tonight. Just constantly getting up in the attack, which is fine because he can move the ball fairly well, but we need somebody back there. We need somebody who's going to sort of sit in that role and keep the other team from counterattacking so easily. Gressel, for me, is kind of playing himself out of the team. He's had his bright moments. He has moments where he works hard and wins the ball, does decent. But for the most part, he's just kind of a non-factor now. And it's really disappointing because he seemed like a player with such potential at the beginning of the year. But he sort of faded off. I think the pressure sort of got into him as well. Because realistically, I mean, he's just not really providing much of anything for us. You know, whenever we've got the ball and we're looking for that killer through ball, he thinks he can do it, but he can't. He keeps going out of play, or his pass is a misplaced pass, and now all of a sudden they've got it. And he does well to win it back, but then all of a sudden he makes a foul in the process or something. So I just think overall, obviously with Laurentowicz out, I think he steps in. But I just want to know, do we not have anybody else in there? Do we not have anybody else who can, I guess, take that role in there? Because Gressel, for me, can't do it. I don't see him as a distributor. I don't see him as a defensive rock in there. He's just right now kind of a player out there who just sort of runs around and does some stuff from time to time. So I really do think he needs to improve his game a bit. I don't know really what else to say. Maybe with time he'll improve, but for now, we got to get somebody who's either a bit more experienced or a bit more solid in there. The front, I guess the three attacking players, Assad and Villalba on the left and right, and Almiron in the middle, all did pretty well today. I'll say Villalba was a bit disappointing just in the fact that he really could have killed the game off early but didn't. But overall, he worked pretty hard, made some good runs in behind. Assad obviously did well in the assist, but as the game grew on, sort of faded out of the game, I guess becoming more and more tired. Almiron did pretty well, but I think teams have started to figure him out. Started to realize, just keep him off his left foot and mark him very tightly. Double team him if you can. And so that's what they did today. They did a very good job of sort of closing the door on him whenever he was on the ball. He still created a couple really good chances and still has the ability to work his way out of 2 or 3 players, but most of those are either passes to a player who then kicks it out of bounds or are passes to a player who's then closed down by somebody else. So, like I said, once we gave up that second goal, it's like there's so many players back there for DC United that Almiron almost becomes kind of a non-factor because he plays much more on his feet where Kenwyne Jones plays in the air. So that's why I'm going to say, even though he got the goal, overall I was kind of disappointed with Jones tonight. I think this game really suited him because DC United were kind of keeping a lot of people back. There were a lot of times where they were just cutting off the passing lanes on the ground, and so we should have been looking higher. We should have been looking for headers. We should have been looking to play it in, cross it in, whatever. We did that quite a bit. And he just wasn't really as involved as he could have been. After the goal, it's like he didn't do anything for the rest of the game. So, I don't know. It's kind of disappointing to say that because, obviously, goal scorer, you want to say, oh yeah, it was a great goal, he had a great game. But to be honest, after the goal, he kind of faded out of it. And it was in a game that I think he should have been exceptionally good at doing. Part of that, though, I will attribute to the fact that he does work hard to win the ball back, but at times that does take him into the midfield. And my dad commented on that about halfway through the first half. There are a lot of times where we're getting the cross in, and he's still top of the box trying to get into the box because he was just in the midfield. So I do think, maybe just be a bit more focused on, I guess, scoring instead of trying to play in the midfield, trying to play with feet, trying to win the ball back. Let the midfielders do that. His job should just be inside the box, winning the ball out of the air. That's it. Into the second half, subs had to be made because we went down another goal. And so at that point, it's kind of like we need to do something. Kratz came in for Gressel, which, anybody coming on for Gressel at that point would have been an improvement. And I don't say that as like oh, what a joke, oh, ha, ha, let's laugh at him. I say that's kind of like disappointed because, like I said, he looked like he had potential. Now he doesn't. But, Kratz comes in, worked pretty hard. I've seen him come in the past couple games. Just he's kind of not really been a factor in those games, though. Today, though, I definitely saw a bit more of him, and part of that may just be because I'm watching it live instead of on TV. But he works really hard to win the ball back, and he's just kind of all over the place at the same time. So it was really good to see somebody just flying around the midfield because we needed somebody like that. We needed somebody who's just going to be in there and not, go flying past the player, but go into the challenge and win the ball back. Keep them there, keep them from coming at our defense because nobody else was really doing that. People, if they were going in for the challenge, they're either fouling them or they're flying past because they just got cut and now they're running at our defense instead. Kratz did a pretty good job of just standing them up and keeping them in one place, so that was good to see. Um, Unfortunately, didn't really provide much for us going forward. Most of his passes ended up right at a defender, or he's trying to squeeze it through and it got cut off. But defensively, he definitely helped out a bit. Just mainly helped our defense from having to defend a whole lot. The second one was Vasquez comes on for, I think, Carmona. Definitely a much more attacking move, of course. Bring on another forward. He really moves a lot. Obviously, didn't really provide enough for us as far as the finishing quality goes. But one of the things that I think really works for him is one, he's young, 18 I believe, maybe 19 now. Um, so he's very young. He's already really, really big. Maybe probably not as strong as Jones, but he is as tall as Jones. So that's good to see. And on top of that, I mean, his work rate is there. And like I said, he came on, he just moved. He's making runs. Where Jones is mainly like, I'm gonna be in this place, and you gotta find me instead of me finding the ball. Vasquez is like, I'm gonna find the ball. If you make a cross in, I'm gonna do my best to get on the end of it. And he came close a couple times. A couple times he's there, he's challenging for the header, but the defender beats him out on it. I think though, with him becoming older, as he grows up, as he becomes stronger and bigger, I think at some point he finally starts winning those headers, and now all of a sudden he's getting goals and he's scoring. So I really like the fact that he managed to get a goal in his debut last week. I do think give him some more time and he'll start to grow into this team a bit more, and he'll start to really show his quality, because he did have some quality moments. A couple long balls over the top, he did well to settle and sort of keep us on the attack. So I was pleased with him overall. And then the last one to come in was McCann. Came on for, I think, Assad. And that one was more just, Assad was looking dead at that point. So McCann comes in, just another midfielder trying to break the deadlock. Not deadlock. Trying to give us something going forward. Didn't really do enough. As far as McCann goes, he may provide a bit more than Gressel in the midfield, but overall, I haven't really seen much from him. Maybe if he started the game, I'd see more, but for the most part, he kind of seems just like a player who works hard, and that's about all he's got going for him. He's nothing special. There's no goal scoring in him. There's no he's got great passes. He just works hard to win the ball back, and that's about all I know about him. So maybe as I see more of him, maybe if he starts to grow in the team a bit more, maybe he'll start to sort of develop his own style, and we'll start to see what he's in there for. But for now, he's just a player if you want to bring on fresh legs. That's about it. So, but all in all, like I said, it is a disappointing result. It is frustrating. There are several reasons that I think did contribute to our loss today. But going forward, I look at it and I think, we've still got a lot of quality in our side. We still got a lot of heart and energy. Obviously, our next two games are away games again. So, we're back home for one game, and it's pretty much just like another away game because it's a completely different field than anything we're playing on. But I think just going forward, looking at, we've got New York FC and then we've got Portland, both very difficult games. I think if we can get a win in either of those games, or if we draw both of them, I think anything better than a draw and a loss, I think is good. Just because I think we're starting to pick up a bit of momentum. And I think that win from last week, I think, was the momentum we needed. But then this week, another injury in Laurentowicz, and now all of a sudden that momentum's gone again. So I think going forward, Martino is obviously going to look at some changes. He's going to be looking at, okay, what can we do to sort of keep that result that happened today from happening again. I just think, looking at our team, we've got so much quality. We've got so much ability in there to win games. And on top of that, we've only been shut out one time, and we were missing our best players. Almiron, Martinez, and Carmona were all rested. I can't remember if it was Assad or Bilal, but I think one of those two were rested as well because it was right after the international break. So that was the only game, and it was against Seattle at their place. The only game we were able to be held to no goals. Every other game, even the ones we've lost, even the ones that we've drawn, we're scoring. And that's really, really promising. The fact that we are pretty much always going to get a goal. We're always going to score. We're always going to score early. There's a good chance of that happening. That's promising going forward. Now if we can just learn to sort of be a bit more disciplined in the back, be a bit more organized, so we're not just giving away goals, so we're not open back there, I think we've really got a good chance of just pushing on and going on a bit of a winning streak and just, keeping teams from doing much of anything, because we've got the team to do it. It's just a matter of, can we keep people healthy, and can we learn from our mistakes and go from here and not give up 3 goals in the next game. So that's about it for this one. Obviously, still a fan, still cheering them on. Hometown team, let's go Atlanta, ATL, unite and conquer, all that stuff. But it will be a disappointing kind of week as we await the next game. But I think we can bounce back from this and we can come back even stronger than before. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Who's your man of the match? Who didn't really perform up to your standards? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Atlanta United reviews, and I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.